Welcome back all. So from this video onwards we are getting on to one of the main areas of study which is about landfills. Now we will be studying in detail on um, the construction that goes into making the landfill, and of course more importantly what are the components which comprises the landfill. There are several components, each component has a certain function to serve, so we will look into detail all those topics in the coming videos. So before we move on to our main topic of landfills, let's see why a landfill becomes a very necessary part of the waste management hierarchy. Now, landfills are actually, it can be considered as the final means of getting rid of a particular type of waste. Okay, or it can be called as, disposal of waste. That can be any type of waste. Okay, so the common practice that is, which is seen in our society and in most of in our country and in most other countries is um, the open dumping of waste, okay, or the dumping of waste on open barren lands. Now what happens, what are the consequences of such unethical and illegal practices of waste dumping? Now see, disposal is obviously regarded as one of the final means and one of the least favored options in the hierarchy of waste management. Okay, and before that, we have to look at the other viable options, such as preventing the generation of waste, or trying to reuse the waste somehow, or recycle it somehow, or even try to recover energy from waste. And if none of these options are working out for us, then only we should go for the final waste management technique, that is the disposal. Okay, so the common practice which is seen is this open dumping of waste. Okay, and this picture here clearly illustrates what are the environmental effects or consequences of such open dumping of waste. Okay, so as you can see here, this waste is dumped on an open land, and it is open to our atmosphere, it is open to any sort of reactions with the environment. So over a period of time, what happens, due to the rainfall, the first and foremost thing that is going to happen is that the rainfall will take away some of these waste materials along with it, and finally joins the surface water bodies, which in turn is going to contaminate those surface water bodies. Okay, so that is one of the consequence. And the other consequence is that after the waste sits there for over a longer period of time on that particular land, obviously there are many reactions happening between the different components of waste, and due to which finally you get a liquid form out of the waste, which is called as the leachate. Okay, now this leachate will slowly start percolating into the subsoil below. Okay, and finally what happens, it will join the groundwater table at some point. Okay, even sooner or later it will definitely join the groundwater table, and that will definitely contaminate our groundwater table and aquifers. Okay, and our water bearing strata. Now these are the consequences, okay, of dumping waste over an open land without taking any precautions. Other related environmental consequences are obviously the odor that comes out of it, and because of which the nearby residents or any other people who are nearby will be getting affected by it. And then there might be some occurrences of fire hazards at times, based on the weather and based on the gases, types of gases that are coming out of this waste dump. And obviously your air quality will also get affected by it. So not only just your water quality, your soil quality, but your air quality is also getting affected by these open waste dumping practices. Okay, so overall your whole environment is getting affected, and through some way or the other, as a primary contact or as a secondary contact, the living beings are also getting affected ultimately. Okay, and obviously there will be nuisance by the street dogs, or there will be rodents roaming around these waste dumps, and all sorts of nuisance will also occur due to these open dumping of waste. Now this is exactly why, this picture is exactly why we need to find out a very viable solution of dumping waste. Okay, we should dump waste in such a way that the waste on that particular land does not pose any threat to the environment or any living beings. Okay, so that is exactly why an engineered landfill, the construction of an engineered landfill becomes absolutely necessary in any society. Now, see, landfills are those engineered constructions, okay, which are done to actually contain the waste. So, I have already told you, I had already given you a brief intro about landfills in our earlier lectures. The simple way of defining the landfill is that, it's just a form of waste containment, okay. And the waste containment means, mainly you have to contain the waste in such a way that the leachate that generates within the waste dump doesn't percolate in the subsoil, and obviously the gases or the gases doesn't escape into the atmosphere. Okay, and of course there is no interaction of waste with the open environment. So these are the things that we have to prevent by constructing a landfill. So obviously the easiest way to do is that will be to provide a liner system at the bottom and sides of these landfills and construct a cover system on top of these landfills. So these are the basic components that goes into making a landfill, and which make sure that the landfills are completely containing the waste, okay, and it is not causing any threat to the environment or any living being. Okay, so by constructing the landfills, it actually minimizes the harmful impact of solid waste on the environment. By what mechanisms? By obviously isolation of waste through containment. Okay, and we have seen that what are the different polluting pathways in the earlier picture of open waste dump. So by constructing a landfill, you are eliminating all those possible pathways for the contaminants to travel into the surrounding environment of air, water and soil. Okay, and then there is always by constructing a landfill, there is a controlled collection and treatment of products of physical, chemical and biological changes within a waste dump, both liquids and gases. So we will see all of that in detail in the coming lectures, how a landfill does that. Okay, basically there will be collection of whatever leachate is generated within the waste will, there will be provisions provide within that landfill system to collect these leachates and monitor them properly throughout the period of construction as well as after that. Okay, and obviously there will be facility to collect the gases which are generated in the landfill as well. Okay, and manage it. Okay, basically collection and management of this leachate and gas will also take place by the construction of an effective landfill system. And that is what environmental monitoring till the waste becomes stable. Okay, so there will be a period up to which your landfill will be very active, and there will be a certain period up to which these reactions will still be prevailing in your waste fill. So until then we'll have to keep monitoring. Okay, so we may not know that exactly, but only if we keep a tab on it, only if we do a proper environmental monitoring. That is, environmental monitoring basically means assessing the air, water, soil quality during different periods of time of the landfill. So thereby you will get an idea about what are the changes which are happening in the leachate or gases, what is the change in composition, what is the change in the amount that is coming out. So all of this you will be able to monitor. Okay, and you will be able to um, you know um, come up with a stable landfill system, or at least you can ensure whether the landfill system has become stable or not. Okay, now we have already seen that the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has actually classified uh, waste, okay, several types of waste as municipal solid waste, hazardous waste, biomedical waste, batteries and etc. So there are some 7 or 8 classification of waste given by the MOEFCC. Okay, and we have already seen that classification of waste. So basically the landfills will be constructed separately for each type of waste. Obviously you cannot mix two different types of waste here. Okay, there will be a landfill constructed for municipal solid waste alone, then there will be a landfill constructed for hazardous waste alone, and that is the way how it should be done. Okay, when you're mixing two different types of waste also, it is again going to be a bigger challenge for the engineers. All these environmental monitoring and elimination of pollutant pathways will become very challenging. So it would be better to, since we have already done the classification of waste, it would be effective to have the landfills exclusively for each type of waste. Okay, and that is how it is done. So mostly here in our learning, we will be dealing with, or we'll be talking more about municipal solid waste landfills. Okay. So this is the final picture of a landfill, how it would look like. Okay, so we have already seen that open waste dump picture where it showed the various environmental effects. Okay, so by providing a suitable liner system, okay, basically, one second. So basically you have this liner system at the bottom and sides of the waste dump. Okay, and you will have a cover system at the top of the waste dump. Okay, and then you will have necessary arrangements to collect the leachate out of the landfills and treat the leachate. Okay, and then you will have provisions for collecting the gases that are produced within the waste fill, and that has a possibility of escaping into the atmosphere. Okay, so all these provisions are already given inside the landfill components. Okay, so this is how a basic landfill looks like. Okay, and this system will ensure that there is no environmental effects due to the construction of a proper landfill or engineered landfill. So we have already seen earlier that how to what are the factors which actually help us in selecting a suitable site for the construction of a landfill. So once you have selected the site, based on the size of the site that you have, you can plan for the capacity of a landfill to be constructed on that particular site. Okay, so obviously if your size that I mean the site that you have got is a smaller one, you cannot design for a larger landfill there. Okay, so based on the size of the site, you can decide on the size of the landfill. Okay, and basically we will work out the capacity for which we will be designing the landfill system. So obviously the capacity means you have to make sure you have to keep an account of the amount of waste that is going to be dumped on this particular landfill and for how many years. Okay, that will decide on the capacity of landfill that you are going to construct in that particular site. And obviously this landfill design life has mainly two parts. Okay, so the first part is called as an active period of the landfill now, and the second part is called as the closure and post closure period. Now, the active period of the landfill indicates that this is the period of landfill where you will be actively dumping all the waste into the landfill that is being constructed. Okay, so obviously your landfill system will have the liner system intact first, then slowly you will start, once a liner system is completely made at the bottom and sides of the landfill, uh, you know you will start dumping your daily waste there. And as I said, this is a day-to-day process that happens. Okay, and that dumping of waste will happen for the full capacity of landfill for which you have designed. Okay, and once you have reached the full capacity of the landfill as per your design, then you cannot dump any more waste. Then you will have to provide your final cover system to your landfill and completely isolate your waste fill from the environment. Okay, so providing the final cover system is the last part of construction that takes place. Okay, so till then, till that active dumping of waste is what is called as the active period, that is until you finally close the landfill by providing the cover system. Until that period, until then, you will be dumping waste. That is up to the designed capacity of the landfill. Okay, so that active period for which the landfill must have been designed, it ranges from 10 to 25 years. That again depends upon the size of the landfill that you have designed. Some will be small landfills, some will be big landfills. Okay, so depending upon the size of the landfill, the time range will also vary from 10 to 25 years. Okay, and next, once you have filled up to that full capacity of the landfill, and once you have provided the final cover system and completely close the landfill, that is when the closure and the post closure period starts. Actually, within the closure period itself, this providing the final cover system and all will fall under the closure period. And post closure means, mainly you are that is, post closure means once the post closure period starts, that means, just think of it like, your landfill has been completely constructed. That is, even the final cover system has been provided. Now what is to be done? Now the duty of the engineer or the contractor in charge of the landfill is to monitor the landfill, because it doesn't mean that, once you have constructed the landfill, your environment is safe and your job is done. No, you have to keep monitoring. That is when the environmental monitoring part becomes more um, important. Okay, that is during this post closure period, you will have to keep monitoring your landfills and, keep maintaining it. Maybe some only if you keep monitoring it, then only you will know whether, any defect has arisen in the system, whether, the air quality, water quality, or soil quality is getting affected or not. So all these parameters have to be checked during some regular intervals of time. And then you will have to and based on the need, you will have to give the proper maintenance to the landfill system as well. Okay, so this is what generally happens during the post closure period. So usually that period will be like for, minimum of 25 years after the active period is completed. Okay, so active period is when you will be actively dumping waste up to the designed capacity of the landfill. Okay, so that depending upon the size of the landfill, that can the time range of active period can vary from 10 to 25 years. Okay, and then once the active dumping of waste is over, then you will start uh, constructing the final cover system. So that process and all will mostly happen during the closure period. Okay, so that is, you are taking the necessary steps to close the or contain the landfill completely. Okay, then comes the post closure period. That is, post closure period, you will ensure that your landfill which is constructed is properly monitored and maintained for another 20 or 25 years or so, so that, you can always check whether there is any leakage happening or whether there is any environmental effects coming up or not. Okay, so this is how we can design the we can define the design life of a landfill. Mainly, you'll have an active period and closure and post closure period. So this is the typical cross section of a landfill. Okay, so you've already seen this. Now this cross section of landfill clearly shows you the different components of landfill as well. Okay, so what is the first component? Let's start with the liner system itself, because that will be first thing that will be constructed. Okay, so please don't think that always the profile of landfill will be like this, like it will be like a trench landfill. That is, you will be always constructing landfill below ground level. No, this is just one profile of the landfill, uh, or one type of landfill profile which you can construct. There are other profiles as well which you can give to landfill. That will depend upon the topography of the site which you have received for constructing the landfill. So this is just one type of landfill profile that you can construct. Okay, so this is basically called as a below ground landfill or a trench landfill. So if it is a trench landfill, then you will have your bottom liner system at the sides and at the bottom. Sorry, your liner system provided at the sides and the bottom of the landfill. Okay, and as I said, mostly these liner system, cover system, as well as the intermediate cover system will be utilizing the naturally available soil itself. Okay, and one of the main properties that the soil should possess is impermeability or very low permeability. Okay, because the main agenda of providing a liner system itself is to prevent the leachate migration or any sort of contaminant migration into the subsoil, okay, or your surrounding. So whatever soil you choose for the liner material especially should be such that it is having very low permeability, and that is the reason why we mostly go for clay type of soils for these line for the construction of liner systems. Otherwise you will have to go for, if naturally available soil is not uh, you know um, if natural soil is not available within your site, then you'll have to bring it from somewhere else. So we have already discussed that during the site selection itself, that is we have to look whether while selecting a site, one of the things that you have to look for is whether you can have the soil for the construction of this liner and cover system taken from the site itself. Okay, if not, because if not available from the site, then you will have to work out other ways to bring soil from somewhere else. Okay, so basically liner system and all will be constructed of natural soil mostly, or you will bring in soil from other places. So mostly you will be taking clay soil itself, or okay. Then what you have is, see here they have shown within the liner system. Okay, within the liner system you will have leachate collection facility as well. Okay, and so because we know that from the waste fill, over a period of time, this liquid or this contaminated liquid or the leachate as we call it will be generated out of the waste fill, and we don't want that leachate to percolate into the subsoil below. So for collecting the leachate, we will have pipes embedded within the liner system itself. Okay, as well as these leachate collection system will be provided in the intermediate covers as well. Okay, because from each layer you will be able to collect it. So there will be liner systems, sorry, there will be leachate collection system, which is nothing but pipes embedded into the liner system, or even in the intermediate cover system also you will find this leachate collection system. Okay, and then these pipes will be collecting the leachate out of the entire waste fill. Okay, so then what you have, then you will have a top cover which is provided. Okay, so now the top cover will also be made of soil. It will also be not a single layer of cover system, but it will have multiple layers, and each layer will have a certain function. Okay, even liner system is not also not a single layer system. It also has multiple layers to it, and each layer will be having a different purpose or function. Okay, so we will look into all that in detail when we will be talking more about the types of liner systems and cover systems. Okay, so there we will be studying in detail about the different layers that goes into making a cover system and a liner system. So basically when you're providing a top cover to this landfill, what really happens, obviously you are containing the waste, you are preventing the interaction of waste with the surrounding air, okay, or environment. And then with that you are with that you are also um, stopping the nuisance caused by these pests and other rodents and everything. And usually what you can do is you can plant vegetation also, okay, thereby completely sealing off the landfill, and you won't even know that a landfill exists under that vegetation. So that is also one way. And then what you can do is, you see there is a slope mostly provided. This is to facilitate the surface water runoff, and you can even provide drains, okay, to collect these surface water runoffs, because you don't want water to infiltrate into your waste fill through the cover system, because obviously water in excess can produce more of leachate, so you don't want that. So the surface water runoff has to be facilitated by it will be facilitated by the construction of the stop cover and by providing a particular slope, and you can provide drains at the sites for collecting the surface water runoffs. Okay. Then obviously, as I said, there will be gases emanating from within the waste fill. So to collect the gases also, we'll have pipes embedded within these cover systems, intermediate cover systems, as well as in the top cover system also. Okay. So the different layers that goes into making this cover system and liner system, it all it actually incorporates all this leachate collection as well as gas collection facilities. Okay, so you can collect the leachate and gases out of the landfills, you can treat them, or sometimes so leachate collection is like any other wastewater system. So depending upon the type of contaminant, you can provide a particular type of treatment to leachate. Okay, and then you can go for some disposal um, measures, but only after treatment of leachate. Okay, then gas can be collected. It can be either treated or it can be used for energy recovery if it has that potential particular calorific value and all. Definitely, it can be used as a source of energy. Then other things that you see here, methane monitoring, groundwater monitoring, these all form a part of this environmental monitoring system. Okay, that is mostly during the post closure period this will come into effect. Okay, even during the construction also, if you're going to install all of this, you will know whether everything is going smoothly and under within safe limits. So as we saw in the previous picture, these are the various landfill components. So we'll have a liner system which is provided at the base and the sides of the landfill, and obviously this liner system, as I said, it's a multi-layered system. Okay, and this will have a leachate collection facility embedded within it. And obviously the purpose of the liner system is to prevent the leachate migration into the subsoil or the surrounding soil. Okay, a leachate or any other gases also. Okay, basically it has to prevent migration of any contaminant into the surrounding soil. That is what a liner system does. Then you have a leachate collection and control facility. Okay, now leachate collection facilities are mostly embedded within the liner systems as well as in the intermediate cover systems. Okay, so we have seen that the intermediate covers are provided within the waste fill itself. That is, after the daily dumping process happens, then you can't leave it open, you can't leave the waste open to the environment, so you have to leave an intermediate cover system and then only you should leave. Okay, otherwise you can't just leave it open and then come next day and again dump waste on it. No, you're actually you have to actually seal off how much ever waste you have dumped for the day. Okay, by providing an intermediate cover system. So your leachate collection facilities will be embedded within the intermediate cover systems as well as in the liner system. Okay, and this will actually collect the leachates which are generated within the landfill, and then you can after that collection, obviously you can take it out for treatment. Okay, and then finally, depending upon the composition of the final treated water, you can go for some disposal measures. Then you have gas collection and control facility. So again, there are gases emanating out of this waste fill. Okay, so in order to prevent the escape of gases directly into the atmosphere, you have some provisions for collecting the gases from within the waste fill system. Okay, so you will have these gas collection facilities within the embedded within the intermediate cover systems as well as in the final cover system. Okay, so this will ensure that the gases are collected properly through that gas collection facility which are embedded in the final cover system as well as intermediate cover systems, and then they are taken out for further treatment or energy recovery option. Okay, whatever is a viable option, they'll do that. Then there is a final cover system at the top of the landfill. So obviously this final cover system will be provided at a particular slope so that it will facilitate the surface water runoff, and thereby it can prevent any infiltration of water into your waste fill which is enclosed by this final cover system. Okay, and then you have a surface water drainage system. This was actually not shown in your previous diagram. You will have some drainage system at the end of the land, at the sides of the landfill for collecting the surface water runoff properly. Okay, and then because see, the agenda is that you don't want any accumulation of water over the final cover system, because that will make the water infiltrate into your waste fill over a period of time. So therefore you have to make sure that the surface water uh, is properly, made to collect within the surface water drainage system itself. Okay, and then you will have an environmental monitoring system. So again, this monitoring system is mainly, it will have systems to assess the air quality, water quality and soil quality, and thereby take the necessary measures to either, reconstruct it some parts or maintain it somehow. Okay, or to ensure that whether the landfill is going stable or not. Okay, so that is what the environmental monitoring system comprises of. You have already seen that, that methane monitoring system or groundwater monitoring system. So there will be some facility to, monitor all this air, water and soil quality. Okay, and take the necessary measures. So these are the functions of different components which we just discussed. So next we'll look into the landfill layout. So basically, whichever site we choose for the construction of the landfill, that site does not just contain the landfill system, but it will also contain certain other facilities to support this landfill construction. Okay, so we'll look into those facilities which are provided uh, within the site of landfill. Okay, so obviously, as you can see in the picture, you will have a dedicated area. So this is the dedicated area where you are proposing to construct your landfill. Okay, so this is where your whole landfill is going to be constructed stage by stage. Okay, so in the coming videos we'll see how this landfills are constructed in a staged operation manner. Okay, so uh, as you can see, this is a dedicated area for the construction of the landfill. Okay, and there are some other facilities or support facilities which are constructed around the landfill system. So as shown in this dedicated area of landfill, there is, there it shows this is a completed fill, this is an active filling area, this is a future fill area, and you have some cover material stocked over here, piled over here. Okay, so this is how, your basically this is the plan. Okay, so your entire landfill construction does not happen across the entire area of the landfill. Okay, it is actually takes place in parts of the area, parts of the total area allotted for the landfill. That is why, though this is the total area allotted for landfill, your landfill construction happens in stages. Okay, so first a small part of landfill is constructed. Okay, then you, once that area is completed, you move on to the next part. Okay, so the process is the same. That is, construction of liner system, then dumping of waste, then providing intermediate cover, and then final cover. Okay, so once that process, entire process is completed for a particular part of your landfill area, you move on to the next area. Then that becomes the active filling area. Okay, so once the whole process of landfill construction has happened over this part, okay, it will move on to the other vacant part. Okay, and then again the same process happens. So part by part it will cover the entire area allotted for the construction of the landfill. Okay, now let's see what are the other support facilities. So basically you need an access road which will take you to the point of dumping. Okay, so this is where your waste is going to be dumped. So your access road should take you till there. Okay, because there is no other provision to dump waste, you will directly, use a kind of a dump truck and dump it over the area being filled. So you need access roads, and these are weighing scales obviously for the trucks that carry these waste material. Okay, so next to this, what you will have is, you will have an inspection or screening facility. Basically it will look into the waste composition, and sometimes this will also have some, it's called as a waste transfer station. That is, in addition to the screening facility which is given for waste screening, you will also have waste transfer stations. Okay, now waste transfer stations are nothing but, locations where you will be uh, depositing your waste for some amount of time. Okay, maybe this is like as it says transfer station. This acts as an intermediate stations for the waste before it is reaching some other location. Okay, sometimes it is like that, or sometimes it is deposited for the same landfill area, for to be dumped in the same landfill area also. Okay, so you will have waste transfer stations here, and sometimes you will have material recycling facility also um, incorporated within this landfill site, so that all the recyclable materials can also be taken from the you know waste which is brought into the site. Okay, so basically you will have a screening facility for screening the waste, and if you have a material recyclable facility also in the site, then you can pick out all the recyclable waste from the waste fill, okay, and separate that. Okay, and sometimes you will have a waste transfer station also, where you will be depositing your waste for some amount of time. Okay, prior to loading it maybe in a larger vehicle and taking to some other place, you will be depositing in your waste here for some amount of time. Okay, then you will have an equipment workshop. So there are various equipment that goes into your construction process and your site management process. So all those equipments has to be stored somewhere safely. So you'll have an equipment shelter or an equipment workshop within your landfill site. And then obviously for the working personnel, the contractors, the engineers who are in charge of this landfill construction, they have to sit somewhere and work, because you have all these monitoring facilities also provided for your landfill system, right? So you have to sit somewhere and monitor it. So you'll have an office, and this is obviously a daily job that takes place, daily dumping of waste and everything. So uh, you should have an office setup also within the site. Then the other things are the temporary holding area for the waste. Then as I said, environmental monitoring facilities. You'll have environmental monitoring facilities for monitoring your air, water, soil quality. And then you will have your leachate treatment facility within the site. You can keep a leachate treatment facility within the site. Then so whatever leachate you have collected from within the landfill, you can just take it to this treatment facility. Now there is a gas flaring facility also can be provided, that is basically to burn off the gases which has been collected from this waste fill. That can it can be done in this gas flaring facility. Then there should be a surface water collection facility. So okay, maybe some of these facilities cannot be incorporated in all the landfill sites. It'll also depend upon the size of the site which you have. Okay, so sometimes this treatment facility, it has to be located, it has to be taken to somewhere else. Okay, so based on the size of the site, maybe based on priority, they would keep all these facilities, but mostly you will have these environmental monitoring facilities for sure you will have within the site, and all of these as well. Okay, and material recyclable facility also, it may or may not be available. Okay, but this is the typical layout of a landfill. And whichever site you choose, or for whichever landfill or for whichever waste you design a landfill, you have to make sure that all of these facilities are incorporated within your site. Okay, that is the responsibility of the engineer, to incorporate all of these facilities within your landfill site. It should not just contain your landfill, but it should also contain all the support facilities that can help in the construction part of the landfill, as well as in the monitoring and maintenance part of the landfill as well. So these are the different facilities which are incorporated within the landfill and which we just saw. So the next topic is landfill capacity. So obviously, um, not all landfills will be designed for the same capacity. Depending upon the size of the site that we have received, we have to fix a particular capacity, or we have to design for a particular capacity of landfill in that site we have received. Okay, it may be a small landfill, it may be a big landfill, it may be a medium sized landfill. Okay, so anyway, in general, capacity means you're basically, you have to look for the elements or the main thing that goes into making this landfill, and that is nothing but the waste. right? You're going to make this landfill out of waste fill. Okay, so waste fill is the main component of your landfill system. So obviously you will have to keep a tab on the amount of waste that is generated per annum. Okay, then only you will have an idea about the volume of waste that goes into making your landfill. But not just for the current year, you'll also have to anticipate this value, and you will have to see what can be the increase in waste generation for the coming years. Now that can be measured by looking into your past records, and looking into the population growth rate and everything, and there will be a trend line which you can follow to extrapolate and see what can be the increase in waste generation. So basically you will have to see all of this, look into all of the past records and every population growth rate and everything, and you will have to come up with the proper volume of waste that the landfill has to accommodate. Okay, but we have already seen that there are many other components which goes into making the landfill, and it is not just this huge amount of waste, right? There are also this liner system and intermediate cover system, which is also going to take um, a very huge space within your landfill system. Okay, so it is not just the waste volume, but also the volume taken up by these components as well. So that is why we say that the required landfill capacity will always be greater than the actual waste volume. Okay, so um, you will have to know all of the uh, volume which is going to be taken up by these other components as well. So we saw that the capacity just does not depend upon the waste volume alone, but also depend upon the volume occupied by the other components as well. Okay, and you can imagine that you deposit this waste, and then you have your intermediate cover systems. Again, you have your waste deposited. So this is just alternate layer of waste and intermediate cover system that goes up to the required designed capacity of landfill. Okay, but over a period of time, what happens? Your waste starts to have settlement. Okay, now that settlement can happen due to uh, many reasons. It can happen due to the physical arrangement of waste. Okay, so due to that also settlement can happen, or it can happen due to the various biodegradation that takes place within the waste, due to which there will be a change in the waste composition, and ultimately there is a chance of settlement of this waste. Okay, so what is actually changing here? Your density of the waste is changing here. Okay, so you have to have an idea about at what density, what is the density uh, that is going to be finally achieved. Okay, after all these reactions and processes. Okay, so basically density will play a role in deciding on the capacity of the landfill which you can decide, because density of the waste matters actually, because it can vary on account of variations in waste composition, the degree of compaction and state of decomposition. So all those things considered, you have to you have to choose the density of waste for which you are going to design your landfill capacity. So landfill capacity. Okay, so as I said, based on the size of the site, you can go for a large sized landfill, or a small sized landfill, or a medium sized landfill. Okay, and basically as we saw, there are various other support facilities also in addition to your landfill. But basically the total landfill area should be approximately 15% more than the area required for landfilling. Okay, to accommodate all the infrastructure. That is, area of landfilling is where your waste dumping is going to happen. That is where your actual landfill construction is going to happen. But the total landfill area, that is your site area, should be 15% more than this landfill area, so as to accommodate all those support facilities which we just saw. And in some areas, what they do is they'll just seal off this whole site by providing a green belt around the landfill. Okay, so that it has a nice aesthetic appearance, and it is completely um, separated from the rest of the area. Okay, so landfill capacity basically depends upon the settlement of your waste. Okay, due to which, the density of the waste changes, and finally you will have to go with a particular value of density for deciding on the capacity. And obviously there are other components also, like the liner system and your intermediate cover system, so you'll have to accommodate their volumes as well. Okay, so finally you can design your landfill for a particular capacity. Maybe in our later videos I can show you a worked out example on how we can calculate landfill capacity. There are actually various methods followed, so we don't have to basically study any method in detail, but maybe I can show you a simple example on how to work out the landfill capacity. Okay. So as such, there is no classification system which decides on the different sized landfills. Generally, you can just classify like this. Like, if it's an area covering less than 5 hectares, you call it a small size landfill. Then if it's like in the range of 5 to 20 hectares, it's a medium sized landfill. And if it's greater than 20 hectares, you call it as a large sized landfills. And the height of the landfill can also vary. Okay, it can vary from as low as 5 meters to as high as 30 meters. Okay. Finally, it all depends upon the capacity for which you're designing and the size of your site which you have chosen for your landfill construction. So in the next video, we will study in detail about the construction part of landfills and the different types of profiles, landfill profiles, which you can see or which you can construct, okay, based on the topography of the site available for you. So thank you all.